Hi, everybody. Matt Graham here with Exploring the Ozarks, and I am super excited about all of our guests. And I say this, I think, every week, but this one it would be our first national performer that's on the show, and is coming to the Aetos Center in Nixa on February 17th at the Aetos Center. And we love our Aetos Center. They just had Priscilla Presley there. It was a big hit. There's a lot of national acts that are coming through to the Aetos Center, but we have none other than mentalist and magician Mike Super on the show. Mike, how are you?
Hey, everybody. I'm psyched to be here, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Man, thank you for being here. I know you're probably a fairly busy guy with touring all over the place, but we're just excited that we were able to get you here. So really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here.
Nope. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Very cool. So you actually kicked off the Aetos when it first was unveiled, I guess you could say. You were the very first performer to perform at the Aetos, correct?
Yes. First act at the Aetos. And I have to tell you, coming in, I felt like, wow, this is a huge responsibility. And they killed it there. If you've never been there, people need to go. Even if it's not for my show, go to the Aetos because they're unbelievable. And it's a beautiful, beautiful theater.
Yeah, it is. I walked in there to see my niece at the Wizard of Oz. She was Glinda the Good Witch, and I was just blown away at the setup of that place. And being that I'm born and raised in Nixa, seeing something like that is a new boon to the area. And I know when people say it's, attached to a high school, they're like, I don't know if that's what I'm really looking for. But they've outdone themselves with it. So when you see it in person, it probably is a little bit different.
Yeah, I perform all over from New York to LA to Chicago. And I'm telling you, it is attached to a high school, but you would never know it when you're in there.
Right.
They have a better theater there than most theaters across the country. Like, it is state of the art. And I'm not just saying that. It's a true pleasure to be there.
Well, there you go, Zach Rance. Zach Rance, you might know Zach from, interacting back and forth because he takes care of the performers. Does such a good job. I mean, the guy got thrown into this job, kind of got voluntold to do it. But I think he's just knocked it out of the park with everything that he's done over there at the Aetos Center. So, from a Nixa Eagle, thank you for coming and being a boost to the area. We really appreciate it. Now, let's get into a little bit of your resume real quick, because if people don't know who Mike Super is, this is not just a guy that's someone people don't know. First of all, you're a mentalist and a magician. You were on the NBC show Phenomenon. You won Phenomenon, am I right?
I did. And the premise of this show was it was live. So if you made a mistake, your career was over on live TV. It was hosted by Chris Angel and a gentleman named Uri Geller, who in the 70s, he still to this day claims to be a real mind reader. And so they sort of had like the devil and the angel, right? Chris Angel and Uri Geller, and they would argue it was fantastic. And they'd judge you, and you'd perform for celebrities like Kim Kardashian, who was very easy to fool, but was really sweet. And I won $250,000 that the IRS made disappear immediately.
They do love doing that, especially in big chunks. But so Phenomenon, that's a big show. I think you were also a top finalist on season 9 of America's Got Talent, and that's one of my kids' favorite shows. So by default, I watched that, and I remember when you were on it. I still think you should have won. My personal humble opinion.
You were very kind.
But the magicians, though, I think have it tougher because now it's not just go out and do one show. You've got to come back and do multiple shows and come up with new stuff every time that people are going to like. What was that experience like in itself?
It's a lot of pressure. You roll in, and I'm a big fan to this day of America's Got Talent. Like, who it is as American as apple pie, right? Like, everybody knows America's Got Talent, and I get asked to go on the show. And here's the thing people don't realize. Inherently, you go, I'm going to go on and do the biggest, most bestest thing I can do on your first appearance, right? But if you do that, then you're setting yourself up for not being able to top yourself later on. So I had this whole imaginary friend story that went through the entire sort of season, and you have to pick and choose which pieces you want to do so you can have a small build, because you don't want to start off with fireworks and pyro and then end up with a card trick, right? So you have to pace yourself, and it was a lot of pressure because they're constantly trying to get you do bigger and better, and what piece translates to TV is sometimes difficult to find, but all in all, it was a huge blessing. I loved it.
So did you just have a whole, repertoire of things that you could, take and manipulate to make it bigger for TV? I mean, did you have to create something new every week? How did that whole process work for you?
Yeah, so it was really both. So you perform for your whole life, right? And that is the one good thing about magic is this. In music, musicians always complain, no one wants to hear my new stuff, right? Well, magic, you always, by its nature, have to have something new, to come back and perform again for the audience, like we're doing at Aetos. So, luckily, I'm very blessed in that I've been performing for far too long, and I had a ton of material. And then you take that and then you sort of tweak it to make it a little newer if people had seen it. So anything you kind of watch on my website, right? Any of the videos from YouTube, when you come see me live, I have a surprise for you if I'm indeed even doing that trick.
Okay,
so,
good. Good to know. Just
yeah.
a little teaser for those of you that are wanting to go see him at the Aetos on February 17th at 7 p.m. Because to me, if you were a performer, just coming up with new material would be so difficult to do, and especially with magic, because there's so many things you could do. But, just to continue the resume a little bit, no reason to brag a little bit about being on, the Ellen DeGeneres show. That's kind of a big deal. Also, Penn and Teller's Fool Us, one of my favorite shows.
It's the best.
Yeah,
it's the best.
We have a magician that's here locally in Springfield that was on that as well a while back. Josh Farley, I don't know if you know his name at all, but he's trying to get back on that show because he's got something he thinks will work. So we'll see. But as far as you performed in Vegas multiple times, the touring, all across the country, Canada as well, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Canada, China, Japan, England, Mexico. Like, I'm a big kid that gets to travel the world. It's fantastic.
Man, what an opportunity for you, Mike. So, first of all, we talked about this beforehand, but your name really is Mike Super. It's not just a stage name, right?
It is not a stage name, and I don't blame people for wondering. I have met 3 Mike Supers at my live show, and we always do the thing where we don't even believe each other, right? And then we show our driver's license, right? It's like gunslingers. Let me see. People with the last name Super know to carry their ID everywhere. And I meet people, families with the last name Super all the time, and they'll ask me the same things that about what I experienced. They'll go, "Does anyone believe you?" I go, no one ever believes me. Even if you show them the ID and you're a magician, people go, "Oh, that must be a fake ID. After all, he's a magician." So yeah, it's a running joke. It's a running blessing and a running curse all at once.
I can only imagine, man, because it's definitely not a common last name. But so let's talk a little bit about your shows. So I noticed that you were listed as and this is for people that might not know, I don't know much about magic or anything, but it's listed as mentalist and magician. So what is a mentalist? Let's break that down.
Yes. So, okay. So first, a mentalist is sort of, it was what the Phenomenon show was based off of, right? They were looking for the greatest mentalist, and people didn't know what that is. So it's somebody who reads minds, someone who does magic of the mind, so to speak. Okay. So a mentalist is a lot like, a tarot card reader, but very, very personal and specific. So can tell you your birthday, can do all kind of things like that. A magician, people typically think of as the gentleman, spreading cards, or they're pulling coins from your ear, or they're pulling scarves out of their sleeve, doing magic at a children's party. Then there's the illusionist, right? The illusionist does some of the bigger tricks, like we're going to be doing at Aetos. And they make a car appear. They make their assistant disappear or saw them in half. And then I take all of that, right, and put that into a show. And, how do you encompass it? And I will tell you, I came up with a term that I love, and I say now I am a mystifier.
Oh.
So it has everything. You can be an escape artist. You can be an illusionist, a mentalist, a magician, a daredevil. So it allows you to kind of do everything. And mystifier makes people wonder before they're even at the show, what is this? What is this? So the mystery begins before they even get there.
Okay, so I heard last year, I didn't have the opportunity to go last year, but...
You're forgiven. You're forgiven.
I'll make it up to you, I promise. I'll put you on a podcast and I'll come see you. But
I love it.
I heard that you made a car appear. Is that correct?
Yes. So to kick off the Aetos, inaugural show.
Better be big, right?
It has to be big. And so we wanted a ton of people to come out and experience the venue. So we teamed up with a local dealership whose name escapes me right now. But we made a deal where, listen, if I can steal a car with magic off of your lot, right, and make it appear on the stage, can we give everybody in the audience a chance to win that car?
Wow.
And they were very intrigued. And I do know they had extra security there while the show was going on. And here was how the trick worked. We were throwing balls around the audience. We selected 2 people at random that came up and decided on a make and a color. And I had less than 15 seconds to make that exact vehicle appear based off of audience specifications. In other words, we didn't just have one car sitting backstage that I would make appear. We got them to give us the details to make it more challenging, and we did it. And then everybody had a chance to win the car, and sadly, nobody did, but it was a legitimate chance.
So nobody ended up winning the car. What color car was this?
Oh my goodness, this was a year ago. So
right. You've done it a few times.
Yes. It's not the only time I've done the trick. So
Dude.
I want to say it might have been red, but I could be wrong on that.
I mean, that seems insane to me. That's how good you are at this, because I think I could research this for 20 years and never come close to even picking the right card out of someone's hand. But you guys have a whole system, I'm sure. So how long has Mike Super been doing magic? From time you were a kid, things like that? Let's walk through that.
Yes. So I have been doing magic since I was 6. So it has been like 40 years. And I started in Walt Disney World, of all places, on Main Street. There used to be this little magic shop. I think it was called Merlin's Magic Shop. And it was House of Magic. Okay. Merlin's is in California at Disneyland. It was House of Magic, and it's not there anymore. It has disappeared, making it the best magic shop ever. It fulfilled its own prophecy. And I wanted to go in there. My parents let me. I was watching this old man do these, magic tricks with little plastic things you get in a magic set. And I was just intrigued. I wanted to stay. And my mother, I remember, had to bribe me. She's like, Michael, we've spent too much to be in Disney World for you to stand in a magic shop. So we'll give you like $20 on the way out if you come and ride with the family. And that's, what I ended up doing. And then as fate would have it, it came kind of full circle, and I performed for Disney all the time. So it's kind of a nice, beginning story there.
Wow. So do you corporate gigs for Disney shows?
I do. At first I did a show in Epcot back by the American Pavilion, and then Disney Cruise Line. I worked with them for like 20 years, and I'm a dad now. I have 2 kids, and it's hard for me to be away a week at a time, out on the high seas, so to speak. So I don't get to do it anymore, but it was fantastic, and I loved it.
What a heck of an opportunity. So when did you professionally start doing magic then?
Well, if by professional you mean make money, I started when I was like 7 doing shows right in my backyard. I would charge the neighbors. My mother worked late. So back then they had something called the latchkey kid. You'd come home from school and then you just wait for your parents to get home in 3 hours.
Right.
Well, during that time, I would put out flyers and the neighbors would come over, and in my backyard, I would put on a Dracula cape, from my Halloween costume. And I would charge them 25 cents. And my sister would go around and collect the money. I'd do a 15-minute show and they'd go home. And this went on for like a year until my mother came home early one day and saw like a crowd of neighbors standing around and thought something was wrong, and comes running up and they're like, "No, it's Magic Mondays." And she made me give all the money back to them that day. And the neighbors ended up not accepting it.
Oh, that's so funny. You were charging people at 7. You were an entrepreneur and a magician.
I was an entrepreneur. That's right.
and then you employed your sister to help you run a nice hustle on the neighbor.
Employ would imply she's getting paid. It was more of an internship.
Right. She was volunteering. How much older is she than you then?
My sister is a year younger.
Younger. So she was all about it, huh?
Loved it. She was very easy to talk into these things, and we were bored. There was no internet back then.
That's so dang funny, man. Oh my gosh, that about made me cry a little bit, because now I'm seeing this whole thing in my mind. But so where did you grow up? Let's talk about Mike Super as the person, not just the magician. Let's talk about you as a person. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Yes, so I grew up, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but more specifically a little town called Clairton, Pennsylvania, where they were very famous for the steel mills and things like that back in the day.
Exciting
and my dad
area,
worked in the mill, and yeah.
Okay. So, and then after you ran this hustle on all your neighbors and all that, did you end up going to college, things like that, going away? Did you stay pretty close to your house?
So I would do the little shows. Then that built to, I would get invited to birthday parties, and they would say, "Hey, Mike, do a magic trick." And I did that a couple times and said, "Listen, I should come up with a birthday party show." And so now I started getting paid to go to my friends' birthday parties, and I would, do stuff, and the parents would love it. It would be great. And then in high school, I would do like 3-card Monty, like follow the ace kind of thing to make money, until I got in trouble for that. And the teacher was going to turn me into the principal. And I said, "But listen, hold on. How about this? If you can't pick the ace, you let me go and I stop doing it. And if you can pick the ace, we go down and I will admit everything." And he thought that was funny. I did it. He couldn't pick the ace, and he was so impressed that I didn't get suspended. So that allowed me then to go to college. And in college, I started performing for like fraternities and things like that. And they have something called student activity boards in colleges, where they bring entertainment in for other college kids. So I started touring, doing that at different colleges. And then before I knew it, I was interviewing for computer science, and they weren't offering me even what I was making just doing magic shows. So I say I'm very blessed in that I was forced into being a magician.
That's amazing, man. I love that. That's probably one of the best stories I've heard. So, being that we are on Zoom, we do have some time constraints, I guess you could call it. But sure. I guess David says we've got 5 minutes left. So,
okay.
I guess one of the biggest things I would say is, what kind of magic can we do via Zoom?
Oh,
what do you got?
Ooh, okay. All right, let's do this. Now, first off, before you have no idea, just so it's legitimate for your viewers, you have no idea what we're about to do.
Yeah, definitely don't.
Okay, so check it out.
Okay.
What I'm doing is I'm simply taking off my wristwatch, no sleight of hand yet.
No funny business, okay.
Yes, and I'm on the East Coast time zone right now, so
you are an hour ahead of us. Yes.
Yes. So the little stem here, the little stem on the side of the watch.
Okay.
We all know, Matt, when I pop that out and I start to spin it, the hands change on the watch, right? Now it's going to be up to you. I'm going to keep spinning till you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Right there. Are you sure?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Boop. I'm going to lock it in, and I'm going to keep this in your full view. Okay. Because right now, you have no idea where the hands are. Fair?
Yeah, definitely. I only see the back of the watch.
Okay. So what I want you to do is just clear your mind, okay, and take a deep breath in and relax. Now, I want you to think of any hour of the day, 1 to 12, just the hour, and name it, a number from 1 to 12.
I'm thinking with the amount of spins, what time it was there. Let's go with 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Sure.
Okay, so there's no way I could have known this.
And yeah.
Correct?
Right.
All right. But let's not keep it at 2 a.m. even. Let's do it where you give me down to the minute.
Okay.
So a number from 1 to 59.
2:12.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So truly, you can't see the watch. This is freaking me out, man. This is freaking me out. All right. You told me when to stop. We spun it, right?
Yeah,
you told me when to stop. This is so crazy. I'm going to turn this. Check this out. Check this out. The time you stopped me at.
Stop it.
2:12. 2:12. Check it out.
What?
Magic.
What?
Magic.
That is... Oh my gosh, man! No way.
We did not set that up. By the way.
We definitely didn't. Actually, we only talked for about 2 minutes before this Zoom happened, and that was just going over possibly an outline of what we might talk about. But we did talk about a magic trick, but I didn't think that it would be that quick and that easy for you. But I guess I shouldn't be surprised because, Mike, you really are a true professional. Watching your YouTube videos, just getting used to you and knowing what type of magic and things you did. You do some very amazing things, and I've seen a lot of other magic shows from big artists, and some of the stuff you do is far and away better than a lot of things that I've ever seen. So again, Mike Super will be at the Aetos Center in Nixa, February 17th. That's a Saturday night, so you have no excuse to not go. This is the 1-year anniversary because Mike opened it up when they first opened the Aetos. This year, he's coming back to do an anniversary show. I know they appreciate it because we just had Zach Rance on our show a couple weeks ago. They appreciate you and everything that you've done because you've really taken this thing to another level, and people, after just that one show, it's almost like, how do you outdo that? So they're trying to find all these other acts to come through or people to the point where, they eventually end up with Priscilla Presley, which is even a huge deal too. But
now that's a good act. That's
it is. Act. But, for someone to follow you, it's going to be very difficult to do. And we appreciate you setting that bar so high, Mike.
No, listen, thank you. And can I just say, I am coming back with a whole different show. So if people saw me the first time, this is called the 2.0 show, 2.0H exclamation point, like 2.0, all new. We won't repeat one thing. So come on out for some all new magic. We have all new surprises.
Very good. We won't even talk about if you might win a car or whatnot. But we don't want to make too many promises, but you will see some really awesome magic. And what you just saw here was not even close to what he normally does. So, but Mike Super, thank you so much again for being here, and make sure everybody else go get your tickets for February 17th at the Aetos Center. That's Aetos Performing Arts Center in Nixa. And again, Mike, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, hopefully I'll see everybody soon, including you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and then everybody else, keep exploring the Ozarks.
Thanks again for listening to Exploring the Ozarks. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our social media channels to help us keep exploring the stories of the Ozarks. If you're looking for more ways to support our show, we have sponsorships for businesses and Patreon for individual supporters. Check the links in the description for more details. Thanks for your support, and keep exploring the Ozarks.